You're lying in bed replaying every social interaction from the past month, and suddenly it hits you like a freight train. What if half the people you call friends wouldn't even notice if you disappeared tomorrow? Like, actually disappeared. Not died or moved away, just stopped reaching out. Stop being the one who texts first. Stop planning everything, and you realize you've been running this friendship experiment in your head for months, but you're too scared to actually do it because what if you're right? So you decide to test it. Just for a week. You're not going to text first, not going to initiate plans, not going to be the one keeping these friendships alive with your constant effort and energy and emotional labor. You're just going to wait and see who actually gives enough of a damn to reach out. Simple, right? Except now it's been 3 days and your phone is quieter than a library at midnight, and you're starting to have a full existential crisis in the cereal aisle at Target. Day 4 hits, and you're checking your phone every 6 minutes, like you're waiting for exam results that will determine your worth as a human being. You've convinced yourself everyone's just busy. They're swamped with work. They've got their own stuff going on. It's fine. Everything's fine. Except it's not fine because Sarah just posted 17 Instagram stories about her spontaneous girls' night, and you weren't invited. The same Sarah who calls you her best friend. The same Sarah who you listened to cry about her situationship for 4 hours last Tuesday. By day 5, you've entered the anger phase. You're rage scrolling through group chats where you were the last person to send a message 3 days ago and nobody responded. You're looking at all those times you showed up for people, and suddenly you're doing friendship math in your head. You threw Jessica a surprise birthday party. You drove 2 hours to help Mike move. You talked Rachel off the ledge during her quarter-life crisis at 4 a.m. on a work night. And what do you have to show for it? A phone that's collecting dust and a growing suspicion that you've been the only one actually trying. Here's where it gets psychological, though. Researchers at the University of Oxford found that most people have around 5 close friends, but overestimate how many people they can actually rely on by about 30%. We're out here thinking we've got this solid crew when really we're just providing free emotional labor to people who see us as optional. Fun fact, psychologists call this asymmetric friendship, and it's basically when you think someone's your ride or die, but you're just their casual acquaintance who occasionally provides entertainment. But wait, it gets better. Studies show that people who constantly initiate contact often do it because they fear abandonment. So they overcompensate by being the glue that holds everything together. Which means you're not just dealing with fake friends, you're dealing with your own anxiety about being alone. So you've been exhausting yourself trying to keep people around who are going to leave anyway, all because your brain convinced you that if you just tried hard enough, they'd finally see your worth. Day 7 arrives, and you've got exactly 3 texts. One from your mom asking if you're eating enough vegetables, one from your dentist about your upcoming appointment, and one from that friend who only messages when they need something, asking if you can help them move this weekend. You're sitting there staring at your phone like it's a mirror, reflecting every uncomfortable truth you've been avoiding. The people you thought would notice your absence didn't even register you were gone. The brutal reality is this. Most people aren't sitting around thinking about you as much as you think about them. They're not plotting ways to exclude you or deliberately ignoring you. They're just living their lives, and you were never as central to their story as they were to yours. You were the supporting character who thought they were the main cast. You were giving movie-level commitment to people who saw you as a Netflix show they could pause and come back to whenever. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Once you stop chasing people who don't chase you back, you create space for the ones who actually will. You stop wasting energy on friendships that only exist because you're doing all the work. You stop measuring your worth by how many people text you back. And yeah, your social circle gets smaller, but at least it gets real. At least you know who's there because they want to be, not because you guilt-trip them into showing up. So if you've ever been the friend who plans everything, initiates everything, remembers everything, while everyone else just shows up when it's convenient, hit that like button, because I see you and your emotional exhaustion is valid. Look, if you're tired of doing friendship gymnastics just to feel wanted, subscribe because we're diving deep into why we accept the bare minimum from people and call it connection. Tell me in the comments about that one person who you finally stopped reaching out to and what happened after, because I need to know I'm not the only one who's had this wake-up call. At the end of the day, you can't force people to care about you the way you care about them, but you can stop pretending it doesn't hurt when they don't.